In a situation where we don't want to use a data application, just connect Incorta to more of a custom data source, the process is really no different. So in this example, instead of using one of the blueprints, I'm going to use this online bike store. Now it's an old version of the AdventureWorks database. Test it quickly here. And then I'm just going to go over to the schema environment and I'm going to create a new one. Now I'll use the wizard here just to make it a little, save me a few clicks. And think of it just, I'm going to frame up a house. I want to bring some information into Incorta. But the ultimate goal is to then get this same information available right over to Adaptive. It's because conceptually, we just need a connection. It's truly no different. So I'm going to connect to my online store here. And based on the user in that connection, I'm able to see these data sets, these tables. And I think there are 30 something. Let me grab all of them. So 32. There's 32 here. And what you're seeing on the screen is a metadata scraping, Incorta understanding the data source. It will see what the name was in the source, what the name is, can be in Incorta, and you can change it. You can have multiple instances, aliases of that, how Incorta understands it, and how we'll use it. And just as importantly, maybe more so, how Incorta will understand the relationships between those tables in this case. So I save this. Now I've not loaded any data. It's empty. But I've got 32 tables and a bunch of relationships, 33 of them to be exact. And it looks, well, it looks like this, because this is a system designed on the background here to store data, to process it. Incorta is designed as an analytic engine, but we pick up those relationships and build up that same map that we did before. Now I'm going to do a full load of data here. Again, I just connect, I read it, I'm now loading that information in, and 50 seconds later, all of that data is in place with the relationships. But before I use it, well, let's extend it. In this case, let me grab some weather data. Weather by zip code by day globally for about 5 years. Because it's not about just connecting to one source, it's about simplifying the process of getting all of your data together. So here, I want to know when I sold something and when the weather occurred, and then where I sold something and where the weather occurred. Because what this will now do, Incorta will treat this as one data set, and I can look at my sales and see what impact potentially weather has on that. And just by saving it, Incorta immediately updates its understanding. And now that, as far as Incorta is concerned, is part of the exact same data set. And any questions you have against it are all fair game. Now, like we did before, I need to simplify this information because I don't want to burden a user with having to understand 32, 33 different tables. But it's really going to be just about asking questions. And I'm going to simply define a view, and in the same way I did before, I'm going to define that view like I'm building a report. I'm going to select the information that we just brought in here. So let me go ahead and grab that schema, and I'll grab the weather information as well. 2 different data sets here. And we'll start pulling that information together. Now make it simple. I'll collapse that down and then start dragging and dropping the columns I want to work with. So of course, I want to know how much I sold, my line total, my revenue in this case, and I'll name it revenue. So anybody using it or Workday Adaptive reading it sees it as revenue. And then, okay, I want to understand, who I'm selling to, when I'm selling to, what I'm selling. So let's go with the product category to start with, the subcategory. Maybe even go in and go, let's go down to the product ID itself, the product name. Let's go with ID, I think here. Yes, grab the ID in. And then, all right, let's figure out where it's being sold. Maybe, okay, I've got the zip code, so let's add our state province name to that just to fill it out a little bit. And then, of course, I need to align to, when I'm selling something. So let me go ahead and my order date. And I can grab that a few times. Yeah. Again, the goal here is to make it easy. So I grab order date 3 times. make one of them month, one of them year, and one of them is the full date. Incorta just has that built in out of the box. So get all that in place. I'll grab a few other columns. Of course, I've got to get the weather information. Made a point of pulling that all together. But that's truly all you need to do. We need a connection, and then we need to start asking questions. What's my revenue? What are people buying? When are they buying it? Where are they buying it? And in this particular instance, does my weather, I think my weather has an impact what they're buying in sporting goods. So let me go ahead and save all of that. And just to make it really easy to use, change a couple settings here. And we'll be off and running. And as before, I'm going to put this up on the screen. The important thing here is you don't need to understand it as the user. Incorta understands that for you. That's the value of having it in the platform. As soon as I save it, I can come right over to Adaptive. And all I've done, just like I did last time, I just set up a connection up front just to save us a few clicks. But beyond just the connection, that's really all we now need inside of Incorta to get the data to Adaptive. I've connected, I've asked a few questions, I've simplified it. Now I'm just going to import this in so Adaptive understands what the structure looks like. And just like we did with the, the more, let's say, data app or the blueprint, the more curated data source, that data is immediately available to Workday Adaptive without all of the, the additional work you normally have to go through to fully build out a data pipeline and then manipulate it. And then any change you make will automatically be inherited by Adaptive. Simply connect, simplify, and use.